May 20th, 2026, the South Summit, Mount Everest. 274 people were standing in a single line at 8,800 meters above sea level, waiting their turn to take one more step toward the top of the world. Nepal is calling the 2026 Everest season the greatest in the mountain's history. 492 permits issued, a number no season has ever touched. More than $7 million collected in permit fees before a single climber laced their boots. A record 275 people reaching the summit from the Nepali side in a single day. The government's own press releases are lined with superlatives: records shattered, revenue collected, history made. But somewhere underneath that celebration, quietly, something else is being discussed, and it is not being discussed loudly enough. But what Nepal is not talking about is this. The part that I find most extraordinary about this story is that behind every single one of those records, the permits, the fees, the summit numbers, there is a shadow, a rope-fixing mutiny that fractured the industry's most important professional relationship. A $20 million fraud investigation that went to court in March, right as this season was beginning. Frozen human remains surfacing through a melting glacier in the Icefall. And the man with the most Everest summits in human history stepping off the mountain and immediately telling the press that the government needs to stop what it is doing. This is the dark side of the record-breaking Everest 2026 season. Welcome to Tourist Tragedies. To understand why these records matter so much to Nepal, you need to understand what Everest means to the country economically. The permit fee alone is $15,000 per climber. Multiply that by 492 paying clients, and you arrive at something close to $7.5 million before expedition support fees, logistics, and the income generated for thousands of Sherpa guides, base camp workers, cooks, yak handlers, and porters who depend entirely on the spring season for their annual livelihood. For comparison, the previous permit record was 478 in 2023, set during the post-pandemic rush. Nepal broke that by a comfortable margin, and this year, China closed the Tibet north side of Everest entirely, pushing every aspiring climber onto the single Nepali southern route. One mountain, one route. Nearly 500 paying clients, each with at least one guide. The mountain was carrying close to 1,000 people. That is not a climbing season, that is a city. The part I find most important to understand is who was actually on the mountain. When the Department of Tourism issues 492 permits, that number only counts the paying clients. It does not count the Sherpa guides, the high-altitude porters, the rope fixers, the camp support teams, or the expedition logistics staff. Many commercial operators maintain a 1-to-1 guide-to-client ratio, and some operate at higher staffing levels than that. So, when officials say 492 people were granted access, the real number of human beings moving through the same fixed ropes, through the same icefall, through the same death zone bottlenecks above Camp 4, is closer to 1,000. In 2019, a season with far fewer permits, images of a queue stretching from the Hillary Step to the South Summit went viral across the entire world. At least 4 of the 11 deaths in that season were attributed directly to overcrowding. Climbers waited hours in the death zone with depleting oxygen. In 2026, Nepal issued 14 more permits than they did then, and then they celebrated. What made the 2026 season extraordinary before the summit rush even began was the conflict in the Icefall. Every spring, a body called the Sagarmatha Pollution Control Committee deploys a team known as the Icefall Doctors, a group of elite Sherpa specialists whose entire job is to fix ladders, ropes, and safe passages through the Khumbu Icefall, the most technically dangerous section of the entire south route. In April of 2026, a massive serac, a tower of glacial ice roughly the height of a 10-story building, had shifted above the Icefall's primary corridor, creating a situation the Icefall Doctors officially declared impassable. The Expedition Operators Association sent their own team to search for an alternative. They came back with the same verdict: no safe route existed. The entire season hung in the balance, with acclimatization schedules deteriorating and hundreds of climbers sitting at base camp with nowhere to go. And then Mingma G Sherpa, one of the most famous high-altitude climbers in the world, known universally as Mingma G, did something the industry had never quite seen before. He simply ignored the official conclusion, assembled an unofficial team of Sherpas from his own company, Imagine Nepal, and went looking himself. His team found a route. They fixed ladders toward Camp 1. The Icefall doctors said it was not safe. Mingma G said it was. And when the weather cleared, they were proven right. The season continued, but the professional relationship between the most powerful man in commercial Himalayan, guiding, and the official governing body had developed a fracture that would not heal. By the second week of May, everything appeared to be back on track. The ropes had reached the South Col at 7,906 meters on May 8th. The official joint fixing team, coordinated by the Expedition Operators Association and led by a team of experienced high-altitude Sherpas, was resting at base camp before making the final push to the summit. The weather window looked clean, expeditions were in position. And then, Mingma G posted on Instagram. He announced that the official team was resting and that the delay was unacceptable. He said that without ropes to the summit, overcrowding would develop at the bottlenecks below the Hillary Step, and people would die waiting. He said he was going to fix the route himself, with or without permission, from the Expedition Operators Association. That post landed like a grenade in the Himalayan guiding community. The official team had permission from the Department of Tourism to conduct the fixing. Mingma G did not. He was a private operator, announcing publicly that he was going to take over a government-sanctioned operation because, in his judgment, the sanctioned operation was moving too slowly. Within hours, members of the official team began responding publicly. The CEO of 7 Summit Treks, Chang Dawa Sherpa, whose company was coordinating the official fixing effort, issued a statement defending the team's timeline. And somewhere in the middle of all of this, the official Sherpas started moving again, because nobody wanted to be the team that Mingma G beat to the summit. What side? To understand what this conflict actually represents, you need to understand how rope fixing works on Everest. On every popular Himalayan peak in Nepal, every expedition, regardless of which company they climb with, pays a mandatory rope fixing contribution to the Expedition Operators Association. That money funds the elite team of Sherpas who go ahead of all the clients and fix the safety ropes that literally every commercial climber on the mountain depends on. It is the single most important coordinated act of the entire season. The team that does it is chosen by the association, answerable to the Department of Tourism, and operates under a formal government mandate. It is not a volunteer operation. It is an official, funded, regulated institution. When Mingma G announced he was taking it over without permission, he was not just expressing frustration with a timeline. He was asserting, publicly and forcefully, that the official system could not be trusted to protect people's lives. He was right that delays kill people. He was also right that his teams are among the fastest and most capable in the world. But the operators who run the majority of Everest expeditions saw it differently. They saw a man with enormous social media reach unilaterally dismantling a governance structure that the entire industry depends on, doing it on Instagram, in real time, during the most critical window of the season. On May 13th, 2026, at 10:25 in the morning, Nepal time, a summit fixing team reached the top of Everest, opening the route for the season. The question of who fixed the final ropes, Mingma G's Imagine Nepal Sherpas or the official EON team, was disputed publicly and immediately. Mingma G said 3 of his guides stepped in when the official team had not moved from the South Col by 1 in the morning and fixed the rope to the south summit. The official team said the EON had authority over the operation and that additional Sherpas from member agencies merely assisted. Mingma G responded by posting on social media, "I firmly assert that our team fixed the Everest summit." Khumbu Sherpa, the CEO of the official coordinating body, issued a counter-statement. The dispute was happening publicly in writing, 48 hours after the route opened, while hundreds of paying clients were still ascending. Quick heads up, every week I drop a new update you won't find anywhere else. The human cost of the season did not announce itself in a single catastrophe. It arrived quietly, in installments, one name at a time. Before the rope-fixing dispute had even resolved, 3 men had already died. Lakpa Dende Sherpa, 52 years old, died on May 3rd while trekking to base camp. Bijay Gamire Bishwakarma, a 35-year-old Everest veteran and YouTuber who had summited the mountain 4 times and was the first Dalit climber to have done so, died of cardiac arrest in the Khumbu Icefall on May 10th. Phura Gyaljen Sherpa, 20 years old, slipped and fell on the Lhasa face on May 11th. 2 Indian climbers, Sandeep Arey and Arun Kumar Tiwari, died descending from successful summits on May 20th and 21st. At least 8 deaths were confirmed before the season closed. All 5 of Nepal's climbing deaths came from the support side of the industry: the guides, the fixers, the veterans. The people the permits do not count. When you lay the sequence of events in order, a clear picture begins to form. This was not a season that went wrong. It was a season that was under pressure from 4 simultaneous directions before a single permit was stamped. First, the insurance fraud charges filed in March had already cast a shadow over Nepal's entire tourism credibility. $20 million stolen from international insurers between 2022 and 2025 by guides who allegedly added baking soda to trekkers' food to induce gastric symptoms, then called helicopter evacuations they billed individually to insurers even when multiple people were flown on the same aircraft. 32 individuals charged. 6 hospitals under investigation. The season opened under that cloud. Second, China's closure of the Tibet North route funneled every single aspiring Everest climber into one corridor. Third, the Sarak collapse in the icefall created a delay that compressed acclimatization windows and put psychological pressure on everyone, triggering the Mingma G conflict. And fourth, Nepal issued its highest ever number of permits into that compressed window, then stood on the summit day numbers and declared it a victory. Call this the 4-pressure convergence. Any one of these factors alone is manageable. All 4 together in the same 6-week season is something different, and every professional on the mountain knew it. The 2026 Everest season did not collapse. It is tempting to describe a disaster, and it was not one. The records are real, the revenue is real, the summits are real. But the man with 32 Everest ascents, Kami Rita Sherpa, the person who has stood on top of this mountain more times than any human being alive, came down from the 2026 season and walked straight to the media and said this: "There is a need for authorities to control this number. They should let in only climbers of quality. There should be a limit." When the man who has spent his entire professional life on that mountain, who has guided and carried and fixed and endured more of it than anyone else on the planet, comes down from the record-breaking season and says it has gone too far, that is not a cautionary note. That is a verdict. Nepal is celebrating. But its most experienced voice is worried. Do you think Nepal should cap Everest permits now, or is the real problem something else entirely? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one.